Who will Kamala Harris pick as her running mate, her vice president? And here are 6 of the leading contenders. Michael Snyder reports, what in the world just happened? Within the past 24 hours, Joe Biden dropped out of the presidential race. Kamala Harris became the presumptive nominee, and hordes of top Democrats publicly endorsed her. We're finding out that lots of people apparently knew that this was going to happen on Sunday in advance. To call all of this orchestrated would be a tremendous understatement. It appears that the Democratic Party machine was absolutely determined to slam the door shut on anyone that would even think of challenging Harris. And this is the party that was attempting to claim that it would save democracy, quote unquote. What a joke. On Sunday evening, it was being reported that all 50 Democrat Party state chairs had officially endorsed Harris. All 50 Democratic Party state chairs have thrown their weight behind Vice President Kamala Harris to be the party's new presidential nominee, according to sources familiar with the matter. The chairs held a conference call on Sunday after President Joe Biden announced he was stepping aside as the party's candidate. California Governor Gavin Newsom could have been a formidable challenger for the nomination, but he has decided to endorse Harris too. Tough, fearless, and tenacious, they say. With our democracy at stake and our future on the line, no one is better to prosecute the case against Donald Trump's dark vision and guide our country in a healthier direction than America's Vice President Kamala Harris. I think that Newsom definitely wants to run for president, but there are a couple of things holding him back at this time. Number one, I think that Newsom considers this election to already be lost. Number two, I think that Newsom has always been targeting the 2028, and he does not want to do anything to mess that up. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer is probably the only big name left that has a prayer of challenging Harris, but she probably realizes that she has already been outflanked, and so I don't think that it's likely that she will pull the trigger. Unless a miracle happens, Harris will be the nominee. So who will she pick as her running mate? The following are 6 of the leading contenders. Number 1, Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro. He's leading in the better markets because he is the most obvious choice. In this election, the swing states will determine the outcome, and Pennsylvania is the most important swing state. So it would make sense to select a man that is widely popular in that state. Shapiro, who comfortably beat Trump-backed Doug Mastriano in 2022, is widely popular in his home state and enjoys support from both Democrats and Republicans. The only governor with a divided legislature, Shapiro was able to reach a bipartisan agreement late last week. He's also been applauded for his handling of major infrastructure crisis, including the collapse of the I-59-95 bridge last year and the train derailment in Ohio, which borders Pennsylvania. All of the potential VP contenders, of all of them, Shapiro might be among the sharpest of the group because his presence could help Democrats secure Pennsylvania. Jeffrey Krause, a politics professor at Wagner College, told Newsweek. Interestingly, Shapiro wasted no time in publicly endorsing Harris. The best path forward for the Democratic Party is to quickly unite behind Vice President Harris and refocus on winning the presidency, Shapiro said, who won his competitive state in a blowout against a strongly pro-Trump Republican in 2022. The contrast in this race could not be clearer, and the road to victory in November runs right through Pennsylvania, where this collective work began. I will do everything I can to help elect Kamala Harris as the 47th President of the United States, he said. To me, this seems like a slam dunk, but just like Joe Biden, Kamala Harris has a tendency to really mess things up. And number 2, U.S. Senator Mark Kelly. Harris and Kelly have known each other for a very long time, and their teams regularly interact with one another. So there is an existing relationship there, and that should not be underestimated. Also, Kelly is from the swing state of Arizona, and so that would be a plus. Unsurprisingly, Kelly has also publicly endorsed Harris. Senator Mark Kelly, Democrat Arizona, considered to be in contention to join the Democratic ticket, has given Harris his full endorsement. I could not be more confident that Vice President Kamala Harris is the right person to defeat Donald Trump and lead our country into the future, Kelly wrote on X. She has my support for the nomination, and Gabby and I will do everything we can to elect her President of the United States, he said. Number 3, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. There has been a lot of chatter about Cooper, but there are a lot of people in his own state that do not like him. But he does come from a swing state, and he certainly looks the part. Like the first 2 names on the list, he also rushed out to endorse Harris. I've known VP going back to our days as AGs, and she has what it takes to defeat Donald Trump and lead our country thoughtfully and with integrity, he said. And number 4, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. What Beshear has going on for him is that he's proven winner in a red state, but everyone knows that Kentucky is going to be in Trump's column in 2024, and picking Beshear would not change that. So I don't think that he is likely to be the choice. Number 5, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. So that would mean that a woman president would have a woman vice president. Whitmer is a big national name, and everyone knows that she wants to run for president at some point, but she has one big thing going against her. Harris wants a man to balance out the ticket. So the fact that Whitmer is a woman is probably going to eliminate her from contention. The following is what Whitmer posted after she learned that Biden was dropping out. However, the Michigan governor said in a social media post that her job in this election will remain the same, doing everything I can to elect Democrats to stop Donald Trump, a convicted felon whose agenda of raising families' costs, banning abortion nationwide, abusing the power of the White House to settle his own scores is completely wrong for Michigan. Number 6, Pete Buttigieg. Buttigieg came out of nowhere and got a lot of support during the early portions of the race for the Democratic nomination in 2020, but since that time his star has kind of faded. In addition, Harris and her team would probably regard him as a high-risk addition to the ticket. His presence on the ticket would probably cost them votes, and that is something that they do not want. Of course, Buttigieg would eagerly accept the job if it was offered to him, but he has already publicly endorsed Harris. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, Biden arrival in 2020, turned cabinet secretary, said, Joe Biden has earned his place among the best and most consequential presidents in American history. I'm so proud to serve under his leadership and thankful for his unwavering focus on what is best for our country, he said. He later endorsed Harris, saying he'd seen her extraordinary leadership firsthand as a 2020 candidate and in the White House, adding, I will do all that I can to help her win this election and lead America forward as our next president. It would probably be a while before Harris picks her running mate because Harris has to be officially selected first. Originally, Joe Biden was supposed to be nominated by a virtual roll call vote in the first week of August. At the moment, it's even unclear exactly when Democrats will meet to select their nominee. They had been planning to formally nominate Biden during a virtual roll call vote in the first week of August in order to avoid a potential legal issue around a ballot access deadline in Ohio. But the party may now have to change course if Democratic delegates are not prepared to ratify her nomination so quickly. That process will be governed by the Democratic National Convention Rules Committee, which has almost 200 members and is chaired by Leah Doughty, longtime DNC insider and rules expert, and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. If no major contenders come forward to challenge Harris, perhaps the timeline will not change much. During the first round of voting, more than 3,900 pledged delegates will cast their ballots. If nobody has enough votes after the first round of voting, there will be a second round during which more than 700 superdelegates will be allowed to vote. If anybody has enough votes after the second round of voting, there will be subsequent rounds until someone has enough delegates to secure the nomination. I have been stressing the importance of 2024 for a long time, and things are certainly starting to get really crazy out there. Personally, I think that the Democrats are making a dramatic mistake by hitching their cart to Harris. She is a terrible, terrible candidate. But if by some miracle she actually ends up winning, she will be an even worse president. This is Michael Snyder's comments on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. This is by Michael Snyder. About the author, Michael Snyder's extremely controversial new book entitled Chaos is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 7 other books that are available on Amazon, including End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.